All right, man. We reconvene.
We're back.
So what the hell's been going on the last 2 weeks? So monkeypox is around. It's a thing, right? So,
I guess so.
not to be a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be like that, but if you pay attention, everybody's kind of waiting, like, what's going to be the October surprise?
Oh, yeah.
Not
Good
because this
question.
isn't a new concept. There's been October surprises for decades
Always.
in politics.
Pretty much every October, yeah.
So what's it going to be, man? We're halfway through the month.
We're more than halfway through the month.
Because
We have like a
monkeypox
week
didn't
left.
do it.
No, I mean, what was the recent headline? I think there was 2 deaths in New York. Monkeypox. I don't even know what monkeypox is. Like,
I don't know.
it's been around for a while,
You
right?
can't
We
say
know we talked-
monkeypox because that is discriminatory against monkeys. That was the thing.
Did you also know that there?
I didn't know that.
I just realized that you can't say homeless anymore.
Why?
You have to say without house.
Bullshit.
Swear to God. We had this discussion in my office. They said this is a thing now because they said you can have a home without a house.
Yeah, so I'm not playing.
Well,
I'm not playing the
I
game.
mean, we
anymore.
had that discussion. I'm like, this is the fact that we're even having this discussion. Says, have someone polled the homeless people to say, do you guys care about this? Because like, why is this even a thing? Like, who is going around saying, do you get offended if we call you homeless or should we call you without house? Like, it makes no sense to me. Anyways, I digress.
Don't we have enough stuff to think about?
Whoever thought of that?
It's under the guise of being more kind, and who doesn't want that?
Sure, I get that. 100%.
But is it more kind? Is it just stupid? Is it semantics?
I mean, I have no
Like, so let's talk about that. So
Yeah.
I am 100%, again, so maybe it makes me a hypocrite, but I'm 100% on calling smaller people whatever they want to be called.
Sure, yeah.
And if they don't like the word midget,
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
And I will certainly be kind in that regard.
Absolutely.
And there's other examples of that in society.
Yeah.
Right?
Correct.
I get it. But to be militant about a word is the most fucking ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. And we're doing that now on so many levels.
Well, right. And my whole thing was, I said, it's one thing if we went around and asked people that were without house, does this offend you? And it was the consensus that, yes, it is offensive, or we are offended by that. Okay, then we can have this discussion. But I feel like someone just needed to latch on to something. They said, you know what? And I also heard they said hobo is offensive now.
Hobo?
Yeah.
Who uses hobo
I don't know,
anymore?
unless they were all bullshitting me in the office, but we had this discussion
What,
in
in the 1800s
know.
traveling by jumping on the back of
hobos,
trains?
Hobo. Yeah, that's what we all said a hobo was. Like someone that had a little thing over their shoulder and like traveled, from place to place. And they said that's offensive to call somebody a hobo or to use that word. Like I look like a hobo today. Like that's offensive to say.
So we had to work through the illegal immigrant thing, right? We had to turn that into undocumented refugee.
I don't even remember.
Whatever kind of, I mean, my point is we are so skewed on semantics. And I believe words are the beauty of life. I believe that.
Yes.
And they're powerful. I get it. And no, I don't want to hurt people. And I want to be as kind as I can be. But there has to be, at some point, a level of reason.
Yes, you think? I said, how about instead of us worrying about whether we call people homeless or without home, we take the $50 billion we sent to Ukraine and try and fix the homeless problem here. How about we actually fix problems instead of just calling out problems, saying, well, you can't call a problem that problem.
We'll see.
It's a different type of problem.
Some people get their feelings enhanced by doing something immediate of little consequence in the big picture.
Right. Well, that's exactly
But
right.
it gives them a little dopamine feeling, that they're important. I'm doing important things.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
stamping out a discriminatory word. I'm doing really important things, Rocco.
Yeah, I get
every
it, man.
day.
It's just, I mean,
where did these people come from?
I don't know, dude. Like, listen,
I guess
man.
they've always been around, but now they got a
voice. They got a voice. They got a voice. They got a platform. They become their own media agency. Like, it's a whole different world, man. And
I can never get used to it. I should be, after all these 7, 8, 10, 12 years of this caustic, crazy environment where the world's upside down in many ways.
Yep.
Guised in doing it for the sake of kindness.
Yeah.
I don't see it that way.
I don't either. I think it's ridiculous that we're even having this discussion right now.
Yeah.
From monkeypox to hobos.
so this I didn't even know if I wanted to bring this up, but
Sure.
I do kind of want to. So I don't have a lot of detailed background on the entire Trump and Banyan and all that stuff.
Okay.
But this Banyan character was sentenced to 4 months in prison. I think the reason he's going is because he refused to comply with the process.
Yeah, it could have been like an obstruction of justice
Yeah,
charge.
an obstruction charge was
Yeah.
not really to do with what the investigation was about. So is
Yeah.
he becoming a martyr? Is that what's the point of someone? Is that just standing on principle? What does that mean?
Yeah, I mean, obstruction of justice. I mean, there's a lot of different reasons. But say, you are, you are requested to, you are subpoenaed to do something and you don't do it, and you don't testify or you don't provide.
That's what
the
it was, I think, with him.
Yeah, then you're obstructing justice because they need your testimony to get to the truth. So it's a violation of a law. Obstructing justice is a law, something you can't do. So are they making him a martyr? I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on right now that, every headline is, Trump's getting investigated for this, his organization's going down for this, and it's like we're talking a lot about this, but it hasn't happened yet, and I feel like it's just, maybe that's what they're trying to make the October surprise.
An indictment,
but I feel like if they had enough to indict him, they would have indicted him already. Like, I truly feel, this has been going on for how long? I mean, months, if not years.
So, friends, I really don't care who anyone's political party is.
Yeah,
because
same here.
I probably, based upon my life and the tapestry of my life, I will selfishly say I probably have more liberal-leaning friends than I do conservative. So it isn't like I got a real iron in the fire here. But anyone can tell that this really, when it comes to this Trump stuff, is really a lot of theater in regards to attacking one individual. And just believe me, it's not a defense of the man, because I'm not a fan favorite over here, not. But the simple fact that the hearings were orchestrated with all the little formalities from the time it was the networks that grabbed it, it's all a coordinated theater. It's a show. It is
absolutely.
It is absolute. It's basically basically art imitating life at its purest degree.
Yeah.
Right? So it's orchestrated for television.
Yeah. There's a lot of things.
Right?
100%. I mean, I truly believe, and again, like you said, I don't care about who your political affiliation is. I have friends on both sides. I sit where I sit. You sit where you sit.
Yep.
To me, it's, if there was truly something, they would have had him already. They're trying to drag on this theater to just muddy the water.
Yeah.
Like to throw a level or an air of you can't trust them. Just to throw that out there. Like just
For political gain.
yeah, put enough doubt in people's heads.
Yeah.
That there's something may be coming. So why would I vote for him if he's going to go to jail?
So, and I would just say the following. It's like, if anyone believes that the scales of justice are used fairly when it comes to these big power plays.
Yeah.
Supposedly, this Ghislaine Maxwell, whatever her name is,
Ghislaine
she supposedly has a book, has a list of all the people that she served under the arrangement of Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
Never hear anything about that.
Because they're all protecting each other, man.
Just goes along.
It's all about
goes along, right?
Because that list has people on both sides of the aisle.
Of course.
So they're not. They probably agreed. Let's play nice. Let's not talk about this. We can fight elsewhere. Because that exposes everybody, in my opinion.
Yeah, but we, the public, have a general understanding that somewhat list kind of exists. The Hunter Biden laptop, we kind of assume that there is a story there. I don't know if it should be sensationalized like Fox is doing. I mean, they have a slant. CNN has a slant to protect them. I get it.
Well, the fact that Zuckerberg said the FBI came to them and told them to suppress the story.
That's what I'm saying. The public believes that the laptop exists, but here, time just marches on. Nothing happens.
It's bullshit, man. It's bullshit.
And there's examples on both sides of the equation here. It just seems like it's a power play that makes good copy, that makes good television, and that in the end
That's all that
Yeah,
matters.
it's public opinion. Yeah, maybe. But in the end, it really is taking all this bullshit.
Yep.
You can include the war in there. Rocco and I were coming back from doing our radio show this morning. What we talk about? We said, we go, isn't it interesting that, there's this war starts in Ukraine and it's a per hour event for about 3 or 4 weeks.
Yep.
And now it's like they're only conducting the war on Tuesdays and Fridays.
Yeah.
Those are the days they conduct the war. And then those are the days.
Everybody changed their Facebook profile to I stand with Ukraine. And everybody was standing with Ukraine when it was popular to stand with Ukraine. Mm-hmm. Now no one's talking about it as much as they have.
So the war only happens 2 days a week.
Or when it's convenient.
That's all we hear about it.
And what makes me mad about the whole social media thing is it's like, okay, you did that when it was popular to do it so people saw that, I stand with them too. How about you do it now? Why aren't people doing it now when it's still going on, when it's getting worse?
When it might be worse ever for those people.
Right, when it might be the worst. When they're martial law, when parts of the Ukraine that Russia has occupied, they declared martial law, they started rationing electricity in Ukraine. A lot of things happening that weren't happening in the beginning, but now all the people that were standing for Ukraine, they have a new cause.
Of course, because it's the new cause of the week.
Or it's wintertime and we can put our fall photos as our profile picture, with our flannels and leaves. I don't know.
And our pumpkin spice latte.
Right.
Please tell me you don't drink that shit.
Are you fucking kidding me? No, I don't drink anything pumpkin. Pumpkins are meant to be carved, not eaten or drank.
Agreed.
I have a rule in our office.
Our manly man show.
Listen,
pumpkins are disgusting.
I have a rule. We have that keg right in our office. I said we can get a fall beer as long as it's not pumpkin. I will veto that.
It's the only time I ever got sick off of beer as an adult was a pumpkin beer right after a Halloween thing.
You carve pumpkins. You don't eat them.
Yeah, I never thought they were edible.
Yeah, look, I'll have a piece of pumpkin pie. I'm not going to say that's terrible. I'll eat it at the holidays, but I'm not going to ever order one or seek one out.
Have you watched this Jeffrey Dahmer special?
I keep hearing about it.
I haven't watched it either. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember it, but I keep hearing I feel like I need to watch it because people keep talking about it. And they said it's not gruesome. It's about the psychology of him.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious now.
Yeah. I always hated when he was captured because the photos that came out, with the blonde hair and the goofy glasses, it looked like my 8th grade school picture. I looked like a young Jeffrey Dahmer in this picture, and people would always remind me. I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So when I hear that name throughout the course of my life, I just cringe. Now it's back in the lexicon because they made a show about him, and I'm like,
The Eric Dahmer Show.
Yeah, that's not cool, man. That's why everybody's sharing their pictures from when they were younger, and I'm very meticulous as what I share and what I don't share, because I've got a few in there that kind of look like a young Jeffrey Dahmer.
I would love to see the Jeffrey Dahmer.
No, we're not going to do it. We're definitely not going to share those. So Biden was at the Primanti's restaurant here, basically about 3 or 4 miles down the road from where we sit.
Which one? The one in Moon?
Yeah, I thought maybe I'm wrong.
It might have been. I think
was the Robinson one.
I think it was the Moon one. I think
okay, because I think the day before at the Robinson location, a car went through the window.
Oh,
door window, front window, whatever. That's nice. Primanti's had a busy couple days.
That's interesting.
My only commentary was when I heard that, because my son texted me middle of the day, "Hey, Dad, Biden's up at Primanti Brothers. A friend of mine just sent a video." I said, "You got to be kidding me." Because really, from where I live, it's only a couple miles away.
Yeah.
And the first thing I thought was, "Oh my God, we are really in trouble, man." As soon as he sees them putting French fries on the sandwich,
he's done.
He's going to be more confused than he's ever been, and that's not going to help anybody.
No. No. There's been some confusing things with him. The 2 words. What did he say? I have 2 words for you. Made in America. It's fantastic.
Did he go to public school?
I don't know. Then I saw another video with him recently where he was someone shared it, and it said that he was holding the wrong woman's hand. He was walking out to give a speech or somewhere, and he was just holding a random woman's hand, and he thought it was his wife. And she was 2 people over and looking at him this look on his face what the fuck are you doing? And again, not to say anything bad about the person, but at a certain point in time, you all got to wake up and say, okay, this dude's not here.
Okay, so this is where this crazy phenomenon has happened that I have observed in my little hemisphere.
Okay.
Some very educated people in my hemisphere will defend this man to the umps of the world, to the ends of the earth.
Okay.
Primarily, I believe, because he's not the prior guy.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay. But when you ask them about, is he cognitive enough? Does he have cognitive wherewithal to do this job? They won't talk about it. They will say, well, he's not. Look at the other guy. It's like they literally will not address the question.
Yes.
I'm asking you about the man who's in there.
Right, yes.
Is he smart enough? Is he aware enough? Or do you believe he's cognitively impaired? Yes. Do you think that this person should be talking to Russia and China on an executive level, representing the country on very important issues now? Does he have it?
No.
I'm talking to some very educated people in my sphere.
Yes.
I mean, way more paper and intellect than myself, but I'm asking a simple question. They won't say he's mentally compromised. They're actually in a fucking state of delusion. It drives me insane. Listen, I'm not a Trumper. He'll tell you.
Yeah, no,
I fucking can't stand the guy.
Yeah.
But I'll call it like it is.
Yeah.
I think he's a liar. I think he's an egomaniac. Policy-wise, I think we were in a good place.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? But what I'm saying is this man, as a man, right, a functioning president.
Not functioning, but yes.
If you defend that, I got no respect for you.
No.
If you can't answer a question, I'm not saying he's not your guy.
Yeah.
I respect, vote for whoever you want.
Yes, exactly.
And if you like the policies, I appreciate that.
Yes.
So I like some of them. My point is, don't for a second try to delude me into believing that it's okay for this dumb son of a bitch to be on the highest platform in the country, mentally compromised, and somehow that's okay and it's safe.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
Listen, I'm not disagreeing with you, man.
It's embarrassing, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, because people, again, those people, it's not about him. It's about what the other guy wasn't. That's all. That's what it boils down to. It's like, okay, I'll give you. If the other guy was all those things you're saying he is, what about your guy? And they still won't answer the question. So it's just you can't respect their opinion anymore. That's how I look at it. I just move on.
I'd rather deal with an asshole who has more policies I dig. Because I can dislike him as a human being.
Yeah, exactly.
And I can actually call out every time he does something that pisses me off. Yeah.
100%.
But I mean, at least he's a functioning human being.
I agree, man. Completely. Right? Yeah, completely agree. I completely agree.
I, policy-wise, never agree with Hillary Clinton. Matter of fact, she reminds me of a school teacher I had when I was a kid. I would take her 1,000,000 times over right now than this man. I would take I don't know. I would take Jerry Brown or anyone else on the liberal side that I probably didn't have a lot in common with. I would take them because I believe they have reasoning ability. They can think on their feet. They're not maybe not hearing things in a microphone attached to their ear.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They can do an impromptu conference, right?
Yes.
And not embarrass us on a stage. At what point are we going to recognize that this man is mentally compromised?
Yeah.
And we can talk about it openly. It's a matter of like what was that fable as a kid? The emperor's got no clothes. No one will fucking tell him.
Yeah.
We don't talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm talking about it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's right.
It's been a day. It's been a day. Yeah, our radio show is fantastic today, and we're closing it up here with some even better commentary.
Well, I think people won't talk about it because then you invoke the 25th Amendment. If we start talking about his mental capacity, then they're going to say, well, is he fit to lead? And then they got to figure out what to do.
It's not a hard.
Well, I understand.
Still going to remain in power.
No,
I think people are still going to be in power.
Well, right, but I'm saying like that changes everything.
What does it change?
They got to. What happens? What do? You invoke the 25th Amendment to remove someone in power.
The party that he's with,
but the
is
midterms
in
are
control.
coming. But the midterms are coming up.
Okay.
That party power may change quickly.
Okay. So
they don't even want to put that out there because if they didn't get it done in time for the midterms, then it's definitely happening. You know what I mean? If they start talking about that now, and something happens and they can't do it, then all of a sudden the power shifts.
Strategically speaking, I get it.
That's how I look at it. It's a strategy they're playing.
Good point.
That's how I see it.
I do too now. But it's frustrating to me.
It's completely frustrating.
It's really a case where the emperor has no clothes.
Yes.
We just pretend that is a normal functioning
100%
80-plus-year-old person up there. When we see so many signs that the compromise is almost dangerous. We can laugh at the memes and shit. But this is the man negotiating with China and Putin right now. And I mean negotiating daily.
Yeah, no, listen,
he's not talking to them daily, but the moves he makes, the confidence he's supposed to be inspiring, that he's the commander-in-chief of our military. I don't expect him to be an economic genius. I don't expect him to be a real genius in any subject, but he has to be strong and be a leader and inspire people. That
Agreed.
He has. We need to have confidence, man.
Yeah.
And maybe that's where I'm unsettled, because all of my life, until him, whether I liked the president's policies or I didn't, or I even liked the man, didn't like, whatever, there always was a point like, you know what? Our president will take care of it. Our president's there.
I agree.
We have a system in place, and he'll. But I actually fear that a misstep by this man. I don't put the faith in this. I can't put faith in who's around him to orchestrate every move. He's a wild card. I've watched Joe Biden my entire life as a politician because I've paid attention for decades.
Yeah.
I've watched his career. I know of his history. Right?
Yeah.
Matter of fact, he used to be a moderate. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've watched it. I know how he maneuvers from a distance. He's always going to be a wild card. He's always going to go off script, and he's always going to say things without really thinking them through, because that's who he is.
Right. Yeah. I don't disagree, man. We're in a shitty time.
Yeah. It stuns me, though, the amount of
people pick their team. They're not going to admit they're wrong. Let's just be honest.
It doesn't matter being wrong,
but it is. It is. To those types of people, they're not going to admit he's mentally incompetent, because how could I vote for a mentally incompetent person to be president? It's a level of self-discovery that these people haven't had yet.
So, right shift here before I might pop a capillary. Tom Brady and his wife are getting divorced, and it seems to be the big little fodder on either side, and how it affects the football or doesn't affect the football, and are they going to go after each other, or are they going to take it easy in court, or are they going to go for their throats, and yada, 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 yada.
Who gives a fuck?
Right. So if you don't care, I don't either. All right. So we talked about the October surprise. Yeah. I read some kind of crazy thing that Alex Jones, the founder of InfoWars and the controversial conservative alt-right, whatever the fuck he's called, he lost the Sandy Hook trial for defamation. And I saw some crazy number of, like, the families collectively are seeking like $2.75 trillion. Was that a misprint?
Well, no, I think they were awarded, I think it was $965 million. But I think
almost $1 billion.
Almost $1 billion. But I think something was just, I can't remember where it was. On Bloomberg, I think it was through Bloomberg, their lawyers were seeking additional damages. And I think it said based upon, there was some equation. It was like based upon 550 million social media views, $5,000 per view is the damage, therefore $2.75 trillion. Don't ask me where that lawyer trillion. Yes.
That's more money than a lot of countries have in their GDP.
No shit. I think it's just trying to put him out of business, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, it's take your billion and go home. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's like he's a buffoon.
Yeah,
and we all know that, right? I mean, but wherever happens, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
This is a broader picture. We kind of touched a little bit about this on our radio show today. Where was that world that we used to live in where we didn't want to stamp people out for thoughts and so forth? Like, if someone had crazy ideas, we gave them all the leeway to be as crazy as they freaking want. And guess what? If they were too crazy for public, they kind of went away because no one paid attention to them.
Yes.
You know, I think of Morton Downey Jr. Do you remember him?
Yeah, I remember
You
him.
must have been a little kid when that was out.
I was a very little kid.
But it was like, he was like the original TV talk show shock host.
Yeah.
If there was one. Kind of started with him. And he had some relative popularity, Rocco,
Yeah.
but not huge,
Right.
but relative. It was in WOR TV out in New York, which is one of the first national cable stations to
Okay.
kind of be broadcast over the country.
Okay.
That's how the New York Mets became popular, because the WOR was on all these cable stations across the country,
Okay.
and the Mets
Makes
were playing
sense.
on there. So that was our first intake of big city TV in the early 80s, late 70s.
Okay.
But he was on there.
Yeah.
Right? But he wasn't either good enough, or he was just too much for the society.
Okay.
He didn't make it on a national basis for a long period of time. The public took care of it on their own, by their likes and dislikes. So my point is, what happened to that society where we just let the chips fall where they may, and the public's going to pay attention to what they deem to want to pay attention to, and if they don't dig it, they're not going to pay attention to it. And guess what? Those people and those entities just go by the wayside. That's a level playing field, right?
Yeah.
What happened to that? 'Cause I think society, for the most part, outside of some specific censoring, but for the most part, it's kind of how it used to be.
Yeah, I think nowadays, the people that get offended by certain things have a voice now. They have a louder voice, so they can stoke the fires of censorship by making it seem that this, instead of just letting society be like, yeah, you don't really fucking matter. They're like, when you matter so much, you've offended me. Now we're going to censor everything you say, or anyone that likes you says, because you're just that offensive. I think just that the platforms have changed in the way people operate within them. We get offended by everything now. Let's be honest. Like, anything you say, people get offended by. I think back when we were growing up, I looked at it from, if you didn't like somebody, you just didn't fucking like them. You just didn't deal with them. Or if I didn't agree with you, I'd be like, you're fucking crazy. Like, I don't agree with you. Like, there wasn't this whole, like, oh, that's offensive to me, or, oh, that goes against my sensibilities. I just think we've gotten soft as a society. I think that's the problem. I think society has gotten soft. And I think people get offended too easily. I think we have gotten to a point in society where masculinity has become an enemy or an evil, which I think is wrong. I think there's masculinity and there's femininity, and I think they're both important in society, in a functioning society, because you need both. It's the dichotomy. It's you have to have both. But I think we've tamped down masculinity so much that I think has caused a lot of these problems and these the way society's working, the censorship, and it's just, you can't have strong viewpoints now. It's unfortunate, because I disagree with most of it.
Right.
And I just don't, it was easier when we were younger. Because if you just didn't deal with the person. If I didn't like you, I don't give a fuck. I don't need to deal with you. I can say what I want. You can say what you want. We can have differing opinions and not hate each other.
Right.
Like, you didn't offend me. It's just you don't agree with me. Okay, cool. Like, not once in my life have someone said something to me, I'm offended by that. I can't tell you one time in my life where someone has said something to me where I said, I'm offended.
So would you say that now we're in a situation where
it's cool to be offended?
Opinion gets stamped out by almost like by mob rule?
Yeah, by mob sensitivities. That's how I feel.
Okay.
Because I look at it where, if I have an opinion that someone gets upset by, and 5 other people agree with that person, then it just pushes my opinion down. It doesn't matter anymore. I'm censored. I'm canceled. It's bullshit. Like, we should be able to say what we want. If I say something that offends you, your problem. If I say something offensive, that's my problem, right? There are certain fundamental things you say that can be offensive, right?
Yes.
I don't say that.
So,
but if my viewpoint offends you, that's your problem, not mine.
Yeah.
I may be completely off base, but that's just my feeling these days.
Oh, I think at its core, I agree with you completely. I just find, there are things in this society, I think we both would agree, that are very distasteful. Like, if you're, saying derogatory things about groups of people, especially when the groups are confined by skin color or religion.
Yeah, right.
That's just distasteful
That's wrong.
stuff.
That's wrong.
I think it's not only wrong, but at the same time, it's like, do we not protect the right for someone to say those things too?
True. Yes, we do.
But we're heading toward an era, though, I think, where that right to even say things is under attack.
Yeah.
Kanye West is an example.
Yeah.
So he has said a lot of things that have upset a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of the things he said were unwise.
Yeah.
I also think a lot of the things he said, as far as my view of the world, don't make any sense. And thus he's offended a lot of people.
Yeah,
right?
Of course.
But if we would kind of just let him be and ignore him,
he'll go away.
He'd kind of go away. Or he probably would come back, I'm guessing, probably apologizing to those that he knew he did wrong, because his money would be affected.
Right. Correct.
But by trying to hurt him because he opened his mouth that way, you're only causing more division, and maybe in the end makes him more money.
Oh, exactly. Because look, I mean, you're playing.
I don't know. You're
playing to the mob again, right? It's like, we've got to cancel him now because the mob tells us to, because the mob's offended. Right? If you look at something, if I say something that just offends a group of people, and that group of people is louder than me, I'm going to get canceled.
Yeah.
That's just how it works. I mean, that's what's happening with him, right? He said something offensive, a lot of things that were offensive, and the mob rules. So, again, like you said, just let him fucking be. Like, just ignore him. Like, people say shit. I mean, it's words, right?
Like, isn't it easier just to laugh and ignore people? Like, let me give you a case in point. So, when I was a little kid, I have a family that grew up in Greenville, South Carolina, and my uncle lived down there. And my uncle was a college professor, and he was definitely a country bumpkin, liked to fish and hang out by his lakes and just, but he's a pretty smart guy.
Yeah.
And I was in junior high school, and we were learning about the KKK. That was like big on our conscious right now in the late 70s, early 80s. And we'd even gone to a Fort Cherry football game, and there was a cross burning on the hill. Someone did it as a joke, but it kind of freaked us out.
Yeah, of course.
So now it's in my lexicon, and I'm asking my uncle on vacation while I'm down in South Carolina, because it's in my head.
Yeah.
And I said to my uncle, well, do you have any problem with like the KKK down here?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I don't have any problem at all with that. And I was like, well, okay, are they down here? He goes, oh, I'm sure they're out here.
Yeah.
And calm as could be. And I go, well, where are they at? He goes, don't know, don't care.
Right.
And I said, well, he goes, oh, we just laugh at that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't encounter it much. When I do, it's just so absurd and stupid.
Right.
I just laugh at it.
Right.
It's not part of my life, and I just laugh at it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I didn't understand that, because I was taught that it was this big thing, and we had to think about it, and we had to. His thing was, it was so ridiculous to discriminate against somebody, and so archaic in belief.
Yeah.
He just dismissed that shit. Now, some people, militant activists, would say that's the wrong attitude, because bad things happen when people have apathy. I don't know how to view that. To me, it was the smartest thing ever. He knows it's there.
Yeah.
Not in his face every day, but he knows there, but he's choosing not to engage because it's so stupid.
Yeah.
And not in line with his sensibilities. So, like, you know what I mean? Like,
there's a lot of things.
Why can't we maneuver life like that? Like, if someone is calling
because here's why.
Some other group a horrible group, a bunch of names, if we didn't pay any attention to them, wouldn't they kind of like go away?
But the people who pay attention to it want the attention of the fact they're paying attention. So if those people that are the ones stamping their, banging their arm or hands on the table and kicking, they want the attention. So if they just ignored it, there's no attention on them. They don't matter anymore. They matter when they become activists. They matter when they say, I'm a victim, I'm offended. All of a sudden it gives them a sense of importance. If they start ignoring shit, which that's what I do. I don't really give a shit, I don't need to feel that importance. These people want to feel some level of importance. So it's like, okay, I feel important by saying I'm offended by these things. Like I'm a victim because you said these things about me. Or you said these things. That's what I feel. That's how I see it.
Wouldn't it be smarter just for us to pay attention to what's legal and what isn't legal? And if someone's doing something that may offend you or hurt your sensibilities, and maybe hurt a lot of people's sensibilities, if it's legal, the action's legal. If we ignored it, would we have all the consternation that we have today? No. Just pay attention to what's legal and what isn't legal. Now, if they're combining those hateful words along with actions that hurt people, totally different ballgame.
Yes, absolutely. People just, again, I truly believe because if you look at the people that complain, or the people that always say they're offended or feel victims, right? they're not people with, I don't believe, with strong sensibilities and a strong sense of self. They're looking to feel important. They're looking to be the victim. Mm-hmm. Most people I know in my circle that are business owners that are kind of just navigating through life, they don't give a shit. I got bigger problems to worry about. Like I've got a company to run. I've got things to do.
Bingo.
I've got other things that are more important. I've got a family to take care of. I don't like if you say shit to me. I don't care. I don't care. You can call me a derogatory name of an Italian. You call me whatever. Like I don't really care. It doesn't impact me. It doesn't impact. I don't need to feel a victim. I don't need to feel offended. I just move on. But the people that want to, I believe, the people that get into that space, they need to feel that sense of importance. That's how I look at it. I could be completely wrong.
I think you're spot on, and you said it a lot more articulately than I could have. I think we're just wasting time on an activity that just doesn't serve anybody. There's always going to be ignorant and mean-spirited people. That's what humans do. I mean, I believe most humans are great, but there's an element of all of us where we can act out in a bad way, right? Yes. And it's just a part of the human condition. But if we only put our focus on that stuff and keep staying muddy with all of that, we're never going to enjoy our lives.
Never. No, you're exactly right. And that's the problem. That is the absolute problem.
Oh, man.
Life's fucked.
No, actually, I think it's amazing.
I do too.
I think that, and I wish in Rocco, what we probably should do is start filtering in amazingly good stories too with this stuff. I know it's easier for us to see all the bad stuff, and it overwhelms us when we create shows. It probably would be a good idea for us to filter in for our own headspace, because there's amazing stuff happening every day.
You know what's really amazing?
People doing it. Yeah, Rocco's going to be in a dance competition. Actually, Rocco's going to win this dance competition.
Right, I'm going to.
Talk about this.
Yeah, so it's Friday the 28th. It's called Dancing for a Cause. It's to raise money for child abuse. Mm-hmm. It's actually a cool event. So I've been practicing dance for quite some time. I think I've had...
There are videos of this.
Yeah. I think I've had 18 lessons so far.
Really?
Yeah.
18 lessons?
18 lessons, yeah. 18.
Oh, he's going for the professional. Huh?
I mean, so it's next Friday. It's actually like a dance competition. So I'm paired up with a professional dancer, and her name's Leah. We've been having a good time practicing, and we're doing the jitterbug. I will be...
I always think of that Wham song every time someone says that.
I will be donning white pants and a pink shirt and white suspenders.
That's worth going for alone right there.
But it's for a good cause. It's to raise money. So, there's two winners of the competition. One is the person who raises the most money, and then who actually is the best dancer. So I plan on winning them both.
All right, where is it being held at?
It is at Valley Brook Country Club next Friday night. You can go to watchful.org.
Watchful.org.
Yeah, and you can just click on Dancing for a Cause, and if you want to donate money or buy a ticket, it's on there. Yeah, you just select my name, so I get credit for it. But it's good. It's good. It's for a good cause. I got to do charity stuff.
I got to see you in this, man.
I have your tickets in the car. Listen, I will tell you this. Like, it is the hardest thing I've ever done. Like, dancing is so hard, like I'm sweating after a minute, like because I'm not used to moving my body that way. It's just you're moving all four limbs.
Sounds like my golf swing.
It's just like you got to know where your feet are, your hands, where my eyes are. Like it's in our dance is like it's not a slow dance; it's a fast dance. We're moving. It's a minute and
jitterbug.
Yeah, it's a minute and 45 seconds. Of just me moving, and I'm like,
is that the whole thing? So it's a minute 45
seconds. Man. Minute 45. Yeah, and it's like, it's a lot. I mean, and I'm like, why did you pick a pink shirt? Like, I'm going to sweat right through this thing. It's going to be fucking soaked. Like, literally, I'm thinking
it'll be the warmest day of the fall, too. You know that, right?
It'll be so hot. I mean, and I told her, I'm like, you picked like the, she's like, well, I feel like we should get like a bow tie. I'm like, no, we're not doing a bow tie. But I'm like,
bow tie?
Yeah, she talked about a bow tie. I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Oh, no, now you have to do that.
I got the suspenders. But that's...
White pants... Pink shirt,
pink button-up shirt, white
suspenders, and a white bow tie.
I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to do that. I'm wearing white pants and a pink shirt. Let's just go with that. I feel like that's me being a good sport. I mean, I've been putting a lot of time into this, man. It's tough. It is
Rocco.
Tough.
If you don't know anything about Rocco, anything he goes into it from a militant standpoint. It's a military operation.
I'm crazy.
Win, dominate, everything. So of course he has to win.
As long as we raise enough money for the charity, that's the main thing. But it's
will.
Good, so.
I commend you, man. It takes some serious stones to do that,
or it takes a lot of stupidity and awkwardness. I'm completely awkward doing this. Like it's like
I've seen the video.
It's gonna be funny, man. It's gonna be.
Well, hopefully, next time we convene, we giving your victory presentation.
It's my victory speech. Yes,
that's
absolutely.
right.
Yes, it'll be be bowing and saying thank you for all the awards.
All right, buddy. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Of course, man. Good
2 weeks. It'll come fast.
Yes, it will.
And obviously, more dysfunction everywhere. We're out.